Welcome back for video 3 in my series where I'm taking you through the playbook in my book, The Success Code. So today we are on training for the connection between focus and feelings. If you're new to my channel or new to this series, make sure you go back and, well, first start by getting my book, The Success Code. Read the first part of it. It's going to inspire you. You're going to understand how these different principles create results in your life. And then go back to the first couple of videos of the series where you're going to learn step by step how to actually apply these to your life. And so again, the reason why I'm doing these videos is because I can't work with all of you one-to-one. So we're going to do the one-to-one through video here. And I'm going to take you through the same process I take my clients through, but obviously I know you can't give anything back to me, but please drop your comments or questions below this video, and that will be our way to interact. And of course, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, @BrandonEpstein_ or email, and you can always reach out to me there. Okay, let's get into it. So last week I had you set your alarms and really start to awaken your awareness. Just how does it feel to be you right now? That was the main question I wanted you asking yourself. And the reason why, again, this is so important is because it starts to awaken you to your subconscious programming, because the subconscious programming lives within the feeling. You're not going to find it in your conscious rational mind. You're going to find it in the feeling. So if you can't feel your feelings, you're going to be stuck in your subconscious programming. All right, so this week what we're going to do is start to connect the dots between how you feel and what you're focused on, because I think we've heard every personal development guru talk about this. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And my sensei gave it to me really simply. He told me, what you focus on is what you get. And so when you focus on what you want, you're going to get more of what you want. When you focus on what you don't want, you're going to get more of what you don't want. And we've all experienced these either upward spirals in our life where we're focusing on what we want, we're building momentum, we're feeling good, we're moving towards our goals. And we've all experienced a downward spiral of focusing on what we don't want, where we start to just focus on how things aren't going well and we get down on ourselves and we overthink, we ruminate, we feel anxiety. So your focus is deliberately contributing to how you feel, which is deliberately contributing to how you behave and the outcomes you get. So that is why this step in the process is so important. So I want you to understand this. There's only two things in your life that you can control: your focus and your choices. And generally speaking, we understand in the matrix world, you know what I'm talking about, that our choices are going to affect our lives. Of course, if you eat too many Doritos, you're going to get a belly. We understand how our choices affect our life. What we don't talk enough about is how your focus affects your choices, because your focus is what actually makes you feel inspired enough to take the action and not eat the Doritos or go to the gym or move towards your goals. But we're not training it enough deliberately. And this is what this is all about here. This is why I made this video. This is why I wrote the book, is to show you how to train the muscle of your mind and start to build mental, emotional, and spiritual fitness. And it's actually something you can train, because we all know people in our lives who are just constantly focusing on what they don't want, right? They're really good at pointing out all the problems in their life. But we also know people out there who seem to focus on all the things they do want, and they find the opportunities. They're the people who are self-proclaimed lucky people. Well, we can all be lucky people when we choose to focus on what we want instead of what we don't want, because that focus builds momentum and it builds this muscle in our mind where we start to notice the opportunities instead of our problems. There's always going to be a resistance we're moving through whenever we're trying to move towards our goals. But the way to move your way through the resistance is by focusing on what you want, not the resistance itself, which is what you don't want. And so that's what we're here to do. So the training I'm going to give you this week is to set those same alarms on your phone every 3 hours. Here's what's different this week. Last week, you're just asking yourself, how does it feel to be me right now? And you're documenting it. This week, I want you to do that same thing again. Write down how you're feeling in the moment when your alarm goes off. And then I want you to ask yourself, what was I focused on right before that feeling emerged? Now, I don't want you to try to fix anything yet. You're not solving problems yet. You're still in the phase of awakening your awareness and starting to awaken your focus. I just want you to start to connect some dots. Automatically, just by doing this exercise, you're going to see how you make yourself feel good or bad depending on your focus. And just that act in itself is going to bring you to a whole new and heightened sense of awareness. And that awareness is going to start to help you make more positive choices in your life. But that's all I want you to do for now, because next week, I'm gonna give you the next step in this journey. This week, your homework is as simple as this. Set the alarms every 3 hours. When it goes off, write down how you're feeling. Then ask yourself what you're focused on. Write down what that focus was. So here's an example. If you see that you're feeling anxious, you might notice, oh, I'm focusing on how I don't have enough time to get all my work done today, right? And so you just write that down. And I don't want you to do anything with it. I don't want you to try to fix it. I just want you to sit into the awareness of it. And over the course of the next week of doing this exercise, you're gonna have all this data for you to look over. And you're gonna be able to start to connect those dots. You're gonna start to see, I notice when I focus in this way, it makes me feel good or bad. I notice when I'm around these certain people, I feel good or bad. I notice when I put myself in these different environments, I feel good or bad. And that alone in itself is gonna inspire you to take some action. So if there is an action that you feel inspired to take as you go through this exercise, and you learn how to start to recognize your focus and see how it's contributed to your feelings, feel free to take that action. When we did that intake exercise, I also asked you to look at all the things you want to start and stop doing. If you're doing okay with the ones you've already committed to, feel free to add another one. Something else you want to eliminate or maybe start to reduce in your life, or maybe something you want to start doing. Because right now we're in this phase of awakening your focus, awakening your awareness, and we also want to start to build some momentum with your actions as well. Don't overwhelm yourself, don't try to do everything all at once, but if there's inspiration there, genuine inspiration to take an action, to make a change, go ahead and do it. All right? So that's it for this week's training. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And understand, we're building step by step here. This is not fast food. This is fine dining. We're going to take our time as we move through this process so we can unwind the old program that's held you back and start to rewire you in a way that's going to create sustainable success. All right, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, if you haven't already, pick up the book. If you're interested in doing one-on-one coaching with me, feel free to apply using the link below. And that's all I got for you today. So I'll see you in the next video.